Be recapping UFC 313 that just took place. Magomed Ankalaev defeats Alex Pereira by unanimous decision. And boy, oh boy, do I feel indifferent. It was such a lackluster fight. I was so disappointed with this fight. And you guys are probably going to comment down below, oh, you were just disappointed because Alex Pereira lost the title. You know, you hate Magomed Ankalaev. You're a Magomed Ankalaev hater. It's big Ank time. Poatan sucks. And that's not the case, guys. That's not the case. Look, I gave a lot of credit to Magomed Ankalaev in my analysis, in my breakdown and prediction video for this fight. I actually thought my analysis was on point, and it actually turned out exactly like I was, kind of predicting. Now, did I pick the wrong guy? Obviously. I was thinking that Alex Pereira was going to get the knockout later in the fight, maybe the 4th or 5th round, and that Magomed Ankalaev was actually going to be very dangerous early on. I was one of the few people that told you guys that I thought a lot of people were overrating Magomed Ankalaev's grappling threat, and I know that a lot of people saw that as something that would really give Alex Pereira problems, and I told you guys, no, actually, I'm a lot more worried about Magomed Ankalaev's striking. I think he's very fast on the feet. I think he has really good eyes, as we saw in this fight. He has really good timing, really good fight IQ, really nasty left straight hand, and he has a lot of power as well, and that's something that I told you guys in my analysis. Now, I obviously did not expect Alex Pereira to fight this way, and honestly, the reason why this fight sucked is not because Magomed Ankalaev. Like, I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, Magomed Ankalaev is such a boring fighter. He was trying to control Alex Pereira and all this stuff. But honestly, the real reason why this fight sucked was because Alex Pereira just did not let go of his hands. And I'm not here to make excuses, guys. I still think Magomed... it's a weird fight because I was not surprised by Magomed Ankalaev in the slightest. And I know that might be downplaying his performance a little bit, but I honestly was not surprised. I knew this guy was this good. He didn't show me anything new on the feet. So it's not like, oh man, Magomed Ankalaev just showed that he's just way better than Alex Pereira. I don't think so. I knew this was going to be a close fight. But I was more surprised with the way Alex Pereira approached the fight. And early on, I was like, okay, he's going to be very patient because he knows Magomed Ankalaev is a very fast striker, a southpaw. He's going to try to break him down. He's going to land the low kicks. And in the first round, I thought Alex Pereira looked pretty good. I was like, okay, he's trying to break him down. And then he's going to start to go to the body. Then he's going to start, trying to pressure him and try to, land jabs and right hands. But he did none of that. If anything, I felt like as the fight went on, he got a little bit more scared. And he just let Magomed Ankalaev pressure him. Alex Pereira was on the back foot for most of the fight. And I was just like, what are you doing? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've never seen Alex Pereira fight this way. And the weird thing to me, because a lot of people bring up Ankalaev's speed, and I definitely think he's one of the faster guys at 205, maybe the fastest, maybe him and Khalil. Maybe he has a little bit more pop than Khalil. That's what I had said in my breakdown. But I thought Magomed Ankalaev has a little... Actually, no. I said Khalil was a little bit faster. Magomed, I think, has a little bit more pop. I still agree with that take, even after this fight. But the thing that really surprised me was just Pereira's approach to the fight. I thought, I've never seen him fight this way, even in the fight against Israel Adesanya, right? And I think Israel Adesanya is a very fast fighter too, you know what I'm saying? So I don't think that Alex Pereira being the slower guy in this fight is something that should have affected him this much. I really do think there's something going on that we really don't know, and I'm not trying to make excuses, and I'm not saying that even at 100% he wins this fight. I still think this would be a very, very close fight, but I think he would have done a lot better. I don't know if he was injured. I don't know if he had a bad training camp. He just looked off. You know what I'm saying? He just looked off. And I've seen even Alex Pereira in fights where he's down on the scorecards, kind of have that pressure, kind of have that killer instinct. I just never saw any of that killer instinct in this fight. And we've seen him in fights like the Israel Adesanya fight get rocked in the first or second round. So I think him getting rocked in the second round, I don't know why that maybe affected him that much. I don't know if that's truly what affected him. I think there was something going on. I noticed right away that he was being very hesitant with his hands. Like, he was throwing a lot of low kicks. He was moving back, and anytime that he would throw something and then Ankalaev would counter, because Ankalaev is a counter striker, Alex Pereira would immediately start moving backwards. And I was like, dude, why are you so afraid of this guy? You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that Ankalaev doesn't have power, because he clearly does, and he has speed and he has really good eyes, but why are you fighting to his style? It just did not make a lot of sense to me. I told you guys that the grappling was a bit overrated. I told you guys that a lot of people were like, oh, the grappling is just going to give Pereira problems. That's why he's going to lose this fight. No, I told you that Ankalaev striking was the real thing that concerned me going into this fight. I mean, he showed that he's as good as I thought he was. You know what I'm saying? That's why I feel weird about this fight, because I feel like I can't like fully like Ankalaev had a typical Ankalaev performance, so I can't really say like, oh my God, I'm so wowed. But then at the same time, like, it feels weird because he deserves all the credit for this win. But at the same time, I did think that Alex Pereira fought a bit strange. I don't know why he didn't have that killer instinct. I mean, he had a good first round. That's the round I thought he clearly won with the low kicks. Round 2, he obviously lost because he got hurt at the end of that round. And, you know, Ankalaev was a one on the front foot, putting on the pressure, landing his straight left hand. And Pereira just looks slow. I mean, he has always had kind of a bad defense, in my opinion. He's always been kind of slow and have slow reactions, but I've never seen it like this. Strange fight as well is because it was so uneventful. Why am I moving on to the co-main event? It was so uneventful that, like, even the rematch doesn't really get me all that excited. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, if Alex Pereira would have lost and it would have been a very competitive fight, a war, and, you know, maybe Ankalaev just gets the better of it, I would have been like, you know what, like, who cares? Like, it was such a good fight. It was a classic fight. We knew Magomed Ankalaev was this good, and Alex Pereira still gave it his best, and maybe he could make a couple of adjustments on the rematch, but he did so bad in this fight that I think the rematch would be a hard sell, just because he was not aggressive. He didn't really risk it all out there. I've seen Alex Pereira, you know, get dropped in the second, in the first round of previous fights, and have more of a killer instinct in those later rounds. And I feel like in this fight, he kind of just went into cruise mode. And I don't know if maybe he was dealing with some sort of injury with his hands, something in training camp. Maybe he just didn't have the best training going into this fight. But I think this was just a really bad version of Alex Pereira that I hadn't seen in any of his fights. And I don't know if maybe that has to do with his activity, the fact that he's been so active this last year. Maybe he needs a couple months off. I don't know, man. I'm like I said, I'm not trying to make excuses for Alex Pereira, but I definitely think that he had an off night. And like I said, I'm not saying that even with an on night he beats Magomed Ankalaev, but I think he would have done a lot better, man, because even then, you know, Magomed Ankalaev, he's a good counter striker, good power, but he doesn't have like crazy volume. And even then, this fight was still very, very close. Like, I honestly thought they could have given the decision to Alex Pereira. I felt that Magomed Ankalaev clearly won the fight. I just think optics wise, he won the fight, in my opinion. He was the one on the front foot. He was the one landing the better combinations. He hurt Alex Pereira in the second round. And even though Alex Pereira did a very good job of defending, you know, not letting himself get taken down and having good control up against the fence, I just think that it wasn't enough, in my opinion, to give Alex Pereira the fight. Even though, like I said, it's not like Magomed Ankalaev was just completely outstriking Alex Pereira in this fight. It was still a very, very competitive matchup. And like I said, it's going to be a hard sell for me for the rematch. Obviously, I'm going to be very excited, but I just think there was something going on in this fight. I wish it would have been more of a classic, because this is a fight that we really wanted. And like I said, the outcome of this fight does not surprise me in the slightest. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people are like, man, Magomed Ankalaev is this good. I didn't know he was this good. Like, I'm like, dude, Magomed Ankalaev has been this good, bro. He's been this good. And I just think that Alex Pereira just didn't fight him the right way. I knew Ankalaev was going to have the advantage early on. Like I said, my analysis of the fight was perfect. My pick was not perfect, right? I picked Alex Pereira around 4 TKO. I thought that he was going to have problems early on with the speed, and then he was going to be able to break Ankalaev. I thought the cardio was going to favor Pereira, the power, that he was going to make adjustments, the jab. None of that really came in. You know, there was times where he actually started throwing jabs and they started landing, but he just didn't throw it enough. And it seemed to not affect Magomed Ankalaev all that much. And, you know, credit to Magomed Ankalaev for fighting the perfect fight. But, I mean, I guess it's not the worst way to lose for Alex Pereira. Like, he didn't get knocked out, you know what I'm saying? So I guess that he definitely ruined, I wouldn't say he ruined his legacy, but, you know, on the trajectory that Alex Pereira was on, this kind of performance just kind of leaves a bad taste in my mouth. I think that if in the rematch he's able to go out there and knock out Ankalaev, then I think all of this is going to be forgiven, just because this fight even though Ankalaev won, it was still pretty competitive. It was still pretty close. I thought it was competitive with a clear winner. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying that I thought Pereira won the fight, but I thought it was competitive enough, even with Pereira's low output, even with his, hesitancy in the fight. It was still a very, very close fight, guys. So I think they're going to end up making the rematch. I see a lot of people vouching for the Yuri Prochazka Ankalaev fight, and that would be a banger. I don't think the UFC is going to go in that direction. I mean, Pereira deserves a rematch, guys. I mean, he's defended his title. He's been so active in 2024. I think he deserves a rematch. I think this fight is close enough to warrant a rematch. I just think that I don't know how you're gonna sell it, because it was not a banger of a fight. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't a back and forth whatsoever. And like I said, I think that the rematch is probably gonna be better. I think Pereira's gonna be a little bit more aggressive, and know that if he stays on the back foot, Ankalaev will beat him, will outstrike him. He's the faster guy. He's the guy with the better. I mean, he was landing pretty good front kicks on Alex Pereira too, which I think surprised him. And I think Pereira was maybe a little bit too worried about the grappling. And now that he knows that, you know what, this guy can't take me down, you know what I'm saying? Like, maybe he'll have a little bit more confidence with his hands. I don't really think that was the reason why he fought like that. I still think that there was probably something going on that we don't know. And I give him props for not coming out and saying, oh, I had a bad training camp, or, oh, I broke my hand, or whatever. But I definitely think there was something like that going on in this fight. So we have a new champion, Magomed Ankalaev. I think that the rematch, I would probably pick Ankalaev to win the rematch. I think that it will still be close. And it just depends on how Alex Pereira approaches the fight. But I would probably trust more Magomed Ankalaev. I mean, he has a great fight IQ. He's faster. He's a younger guy. He's very hungry now. But I hope they make the rematch soon, man. I really do hope they make the rematch by like August, September, because I think this fight needs to be run back. And like I said, I just thought that Alex Pereira fought this fight very strangely. At Justin Gaethje versus Rafa Fiziev, what a banger of a fight, guys. This fight was actually better than the first fight, man. I picked Justin Gaethje. A lot of people were sleeping on him just because he got slept by Max Holloway, even though Max Holloway is a completely different fighter than Rafa Fiziev, however you say his last name. And man, Justin Gaethje gave a pretty good fight. Rafael Fiziev did pretty well in this fight as well. It was such a banger of a fight. Justin Gaethje, I think he still got it, man. I think that he's still a very solid fighter in the lightweight division. I don't think he's ever been elite, in my opinion. He's never been elite. I don't think he beats Makhachev. I still don't think he beats Charles Oliveira. I think he probably still loses to like an Arman Tsarukyan, but that fight would be kind of scary for Arman Tsarukyan as well, just because of the striking. But I still think that Justin Gaethje was going to fight like this. I knew he was going to fight like this, and I think Rafa Fiziev is just a good matchup for Justin Gaethje. I think Rafa Fiziev, even though he's a more technical striker than Justin Gaethje, I think Justin Gaethje is a little bit more powerful. I think that the fact that he's longer as well, I think he's more built for the lightweight division than someone like Rafa Fiziev. Rafa Fiziev was landing pretty good, body kicks, really good knees. And I was like, man, this is really going to start to affect Justin Gaethje. He was going to the body a lot, but it almost seemed to like tire out Rafa Fiziev more than Justin Gaethje, which was crazy. He actually went for takedowns, which was pretty interesting. But I always kind of felt like Justin Gaethje was I felt like this was just a perfect matchup for him. Like I said, I think a lot of people were underestimating him because of the knockout loss to Max Holloway. But I just thought that, you know what? It's been enough time. He took like a year, I want to say, or a little less than a year, like 11 months off since UFC 300. And I think that he was going to come back. And I thought Rafa Fiziev was just a good matchup. I mean, there was moments where Rafa Fiziev was landing pretty good shots on Justin Gaethje. And Justin Gaethje seemed to do the typical Justin Gaethje wobble dance. But it wasn't enough, you know what I'm saying? And you could tell Justin Gaethje just had a little bit more pop in his shots. When Justin Gaethje lands, like, it would actually, like, affect Rafa Fiziev. He would get a cut on his eye, or he would start to get bruised, you know what I'm saying? So even though Rafa Fiziev is very dangerous early on, I always knew he didn't have like that one punch knockout power, which is why I just never I could not see him winning this rematch, if I'm being honest. Like, I don't know why the odds were so close. I actually put a bet on Justin Gaethje and won some money, so I'm glad I did that, because he was an underdog going to this fight, which I did not understand, guys. I did not understand. Like, Rafa Fiziev was also coming off a knee injury, hadn't fought for like more than a year, so I don't understand like why people were so confident on Rafa Fiziev. You know, and we've seen Justin Gaethje come back from really bad losses. Obviously, he's never been slept like that, but I mean, we saw his loss to Khabib Nurmagomedov. We saw his loss to Charles Oliveira. He came back and, you know, beat Rafa Fiziev and then knocked out Dustin Poirier. He was on a good little run. You know what I'm saying? Like, Justin Gaethje has these type of fights where he wins a couple, he beats guys like Rafa Fiziev, and then he loses to like a Charles Oliveira, or he loses to like a Dustin Poirier, or Islam Makhachev. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like he's always gonna be like that fifth fighter in the lightweight division. I don't think he's ever gonna be elite. I don't think he beats an Islam Makhachev. I don't think he beats another Poirier. But man, does he put such a banger of a fight. And Rafa Fiziev also came in. He delivered, man. To fight on 10 days notice. I know that he was in shape, but still, like, not truly game planning for Justin Gaethje is absolutely incredible. Like I said, I think this fight was actually a lot better than the first fight. Like I said, I think the main event disappointed me, and that has to do with Alex Pereira. A lot of people are hating on Magomed Ankalaev because they think that he made this fight boring. I don't really believe that. He was a man of his word for the most part. Like, he struck with Alex Pereira, and I know that he attempted a takedown, I believe, at the end of the first round, but we all kind of knew that was coming. So the main event disappointed me, but the co-main event was amazing. Ignacio Bahamondes beat Jalen Turner by submission. I picked Jalen Turner. I probably should have known, and I did change my pick Saturday morning to Ignacio Bahamondes because I was like, man, I can't really trust Jalen Turner. I picked him to beat Renato Moicano. I picked him to beat Dan Hooker before that, and he always lets me down. And I was like, you know, even though I think that Jalen Turner is a little bit more powerful, I think in Ignacio Bahamondes has the momentum. I think he's a little bit hungrier than Jalen Turner, so I changed my pick Saturday morning. I know that technically doesn't count. I picked Amanda Lemos. I picked Mauricio Rufy by KO, which was very impressive. We all knew he was going to sleep Bobby Green, but still, man, that was nasty what he did to Bobby Green. Joshua Van, I picked Bruno Ferreira, Carlos Leo, Mario Santos, and I picked Santos for this fight. So I only got 2 picks wrong for this card, the main event and the first fight, which is pretty good. I think I did pretty well on picks. And for the main event, like I said, I gave a pretty good analysis of that fight and why I thought Ankalaev was dangerous. Actually, I was going to post a video why I was worried for Alex Pereira going into this fight, and I just didn't end up posting that video. I probably should have. I think that video would have aged very well. But a lot of the things that I was going to say in that video, I said in my prediction video, if you know what I'm saying. So even though I got the main event pick wrong, I'm actually not that mad because the analysis was right. I thought Alex Pereira was just going to do a little bit more, man. I've seen him come back from fights where he's losing, where he's been dropped, and just kind of have that killer instinct, and I just didn't see it in this fight. And to be honest, like, I didn't see anything different from Magomed Ankalaev for me to be like, oh, okay, man, you really have to respect this guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, for me, it was a typical, solid performance by Magomed Ankalaev. It wasn't like, oh my god, this guy's spectacular. Like, man, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was just more from Alex Pereira's side that I was so disappointed from. So I want to know what you guys thought of the card. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.